Hi everyone and welcome to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and an overview as well as some quick benchmarks on this new gaming laptop from MSI. This is the Dragon Edition 2 GT70. Start off with a quick look at the retail box. This is part of MSI's gaming G series, so it's definitely suitable for gaming as well as just about anything else you might want to do with a laptop computer. It does feature a network card by Killer. It features a keyboard by Steelseries and sound by Audio. Also, over on this side, we have some detailed specifications, and I just wanted to run down all of these right quick. So this is the GT70 2OD, if you want the specific model name. Colors are red and black. It has a 17.3-inch Full HD 1920 by 2080 matte screen, so non-glare. You also have Intel's 4th generation processor in here, so this is a Haswell-based 4700MQ mobile processor. You also get NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 780M graphics card, so that's a discrete graphics card with 4 GB of GDDR5 memory. You have a 1 TB mechanical hard drive as well as a 384 GB SSD in Super RAID, which is sort of MSI's enthusiastic way of describing a RAID 0 configuration. You also have DDR3 memory, that's 32 GB or 4 8 GB DIMMs, Blu-ray writer, 802.11 AGBN plus Bluetooth, Windows 8 pre-installed, a international US keyboard, and a 9-cell battery. Next up, let's take a walk through the included accessories. Most of them come in nice little MSI G-series gaming pouches like this. First off, your power brick. This is a gaming laptop. It is quite powerful, so it is a sizable power brick there that's available, but you do get plenty of cable length, so if you're going to go with it being plugged in, you should be able to reach. Apart from the power brick, of course, you also have one of your standard computer-style AC power cables, so again, easily swappable if you happen to misplace it or something like that. We also have plenty of documentation right here. For instance, we have our limited warranty statement. You get 24 months or 2 years from the date of manufacture, unless you register online, in which case you get 2 years from the date of purchase. Also, the battery included is warranted for 1 year, and then it's also listed in French. Also in English and French, we have contact information for MSI. So if you have any questions about the product, you can give them a call and they will answer your question. Here is your MSI G-Series gaming case badge. So you can actually apply this to the notebook if that is your preference. I kind of like that they've given you this separately because not everyone likes putting that on there, but if you do, there it is. Here's your driver and utility disk. So this is going to have the actual manual for the device in PDF form. Also your utilities and driver. So if you do need to recover, you can recover some of that functionality off of that. Speaking of recovery, we have this nice little guide. This is the F3 Recovery Function Guidebook. So if you ever do need to restore the computer back to factory defaults, assuming I remember which page this is on, yes, here's the English. You have nice walkthrough of instructions right there for accessing the recovery functions and resetting the notebook. So I like that they provided this as an actual printed separate document, because when you most need it is when you don't have any internet access. At least that's been my experience. You also get this quick start guide for the notebook itself. And again, one moment while I locate the English side of this. I've been working on my Turkish, but not quite there yet. Ah, there we go. Okay. So a quick look at the quick start guide. You're just going to have a layout of all the different functions and connections on the notebook. And then down here you also have a list of all the function keys and their function, so to speak. So you should have a much better time understanding that. We also have an extra insert here for experiencing Windows 8. This does come pre-installed with Windows 8. If you're talking about Windows 8, I say don't knock it till you try it. And if you've tried it and you're still knocking it, well, don't worry, Windows 8.1 is coming very soon. We'll solve all the problems that you might have had with it. But honestly, I like Windows 8. I really do. Okay, this is an interesting little add-on. You might not know what it is right off the bat. This is an actual seal. So if you still use snail mail and you have some wax, go ahead and drop that on. You know, if Robert Baratheon is dictating to you his final words and orders from his deathbed, you can make sure that you seal up your envelope nice and tidy. That way when you deliver it, people will know that it is the real deal, I suppose. Interesting little add-on there from MSI, but definitely full of character. Finally, we have the notebook itself, which why don't we take a closer look at that. And here's the GT70 laptop itself. As you can see, a very distinct color scheme going on here, as well as carrying on the dragon theme with this sort of inset right up here on the top, which hopefully you can see with the reflection. You also have a glossy MSI logo there in the center, brushed metal finish across the top Pretty cool look overall. Let's start with a close-up look at some of the features on this. I'm going to point out the activity lights here at the top. So our hard drive activity light right there, also sleep indicator, battery, wireless, as well as Bluetooth indication right there. Flipping over to this side, we have some ventilation up here. It's actually towards the back of the laptop, so I kind of like that. If you do happen to have a mouse hand, well, I guess if you're left-handed, that would be on the left. But it does keep it a bit further away from you. You also have 3 super speed USB 3.0 ports right along here, multi-card reader included, headphone as well as microphone jack, and then line in and line out, so dedicated along with the headphone and microphone. Around here on the back, you will notice some additional ventilation, and again, I do prefer the ventilation firing out the back of the laptop. Not only does that keep that from the ventilation being blocked by setting it down on something, but it's also shooting that away from you. Perhaps it's somebody sitting across from you who you don't like. That's always the best way to go. HDMI right there, so you have HDMI connectivity as well as DisplayPort. That's a mini DisplayPort, I should say, as well as a analog RGB connection right there with the 15-pin D-sub. And we're going to demo in just a bit here as well. We do have triple monitor support out of this particular laptop. We also have an RJ45 connector right there for an Ethernet, your power connector for that AC adapter that I already showed you, as well as a Kensington lock right there in case you have this, say, in a dorm or someplace where you're a little bit worried about it might be getting stolen. You can use a Kensington lock to lock it down. Finally, over on this side, we have a couple more USB 2.0, I should say. These are down here for USB 2. And then you also have an included Blu-ray burner, so that's located right there. And optical drive, also very nice to have on a laptop. Let me flip it around to the bottom to give you guys a better look at that. All right, so we have a bit more ventilation. This is primarily going to be working as intakes here. You also have an access panel which goes across this entire bottom section of the laptop. This will void your warranty per MSI if you open it, so I'm not going to be opening it right here, but that will give you access to some of the internals, so if you do want to look into upgrading your drives or something like that, or swapping something out in the future, you can. You also get a dedicated subwoofer down here, so it's going to enhance your audio experience. And then of course the battery, which has one lock button and one release button there, and then you can pop that out again if that ever becomes necessary. Generally it is not, but sometimes it is. If you want to put it into storage or something like that, just make sure you drain the battery first. Flipping around here, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Again, we have a matte screen right there. I'll be firing this up in just a moment. Up here at the top of the screen with a little bit of plastic on it. I will say that when we first received this, it did have a bunch of plastic covering everything, as laptops generally will have when you first get them out of the box. We removed most of that because we were doing some benchmarks, which we'll also share with you in just a moment. So you got your webcam up here at the top, included front-facing mic as well. It's an integrated one in case you don't want to plug in a discrete one. 17.3-inch 1080p screen, again with a matte finish on it. I generally always prefer matte screens to glossy ones. Sometimes that's a matter of personal preference, but there you have it. You also have your Dynaudio speakers here on either side, the silver grills, as you can see. You got some indicator lights across the top right here. So for instance, you have the fan functionality that you can use to rapidly cool off the laptop available right there. Also movie mode, brightness, your power button of course right there at the center. An indicator for airplane mode, which is something that's kind of new with Windows 8. Also display, and then over here you have your caps lock as well as num lock. I would say num lock, depending on how you want to pronounce that. Also available there at the top, so you can tell if those are enabled or disabled. You also have your Steelseries Keyboard. That's located right there, and this actually has some backlighting effects behind it. You can sort of use the included Steelseries software to change up the backlighting effects. Chiclet style keys, of course. You get a full QWERTY keyboard as well as your 10 key over there on that side, so that's another benefit of getting a larger size laptop such as this one. You also have a set of function keys built in, so a function button over there with keys across the top that you can quickly access. Stuff like airplane mode, enabling the webcam, turning on eco mode to save your battery, turning the trackpad on or off with that button. Also note that if you plug in a mouse directly to this laptop, it will automatically disable the trackpad, which is a feature that I like. Also some media keys down here at the bottom, as well as raising or lowering your brightness. Speaking of the trackpad, that's also right there at the bottom center with discrete left and right click buttons. More of the red highlighting right here with the brushed metal finish, and more of that dragon going on right there on the wrist rest. Then of course some indicators here for the Sound Blaster Cinema that's built in, also for your NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780M graphics card, as well as one more time your Intel 4th generation core processor. That's a Haswell Core i7-4700MQ. And as mentioned, we have run some benchmarks on this particular unit. I should say Steve, my cohort here at Newegg TV, has run some benchmarks on this, so thank you, Steve. Here is the Passmark Performance Test 8 benchmark results. As you can see, we got an overall score of 2937.7. We also got a CPU mark score of 8,729, so our 4700 MQ, pulling some pretty impressive numbers there. We also ran the 3D Mark Firestrike Extreme test to test out the graphics capabilities. Got a score of 2,302 on that, graphics score of 2,385, and a physics score of 8,971. And one last quick demo with this laptop. Since you do have your discrete GeForce GTX graphics card in there, you do actually have triple monitor support. So at the back I've connected the display port out with an adapter as well as an HDMI out to connect two other monitors, which are back here in the background behind it. You can just use the built-in Windows 8 screen resolution function to set that up. And as you can see, it easily drags the window across, so I'm not cloning or anything like that. I actually have this extended workspace on all three monitors, so especially if you're looking for productivity type stuff, having additional monitors and additional screen space is always helpful for that type of workflow. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Once again, this has been our unboxing and overview, as well as a few benchmarks on this MSI Dragon Edition 2 GT70 gaming laptop featuring Intel's 4th generation core processor. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, be sure to like the video if you found it useful. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.